powerful winter storm swept across the Midwest at the end of November, striking immediately after the Thanksgiving holiday and disrupting daily life across several states. From Illinois to Iowa and from Wisconsin to Michigan, a broad band of snow, ice, and freezing rain transformed roads and airports into hazardous zones within only a few hours. In Indiana, conditions deteriorated so rapidly that a chain reaction crash involving around 45 vehicles occurred on Interstate 70, turning a busy travel corridor into a scene of blocked lanes, stranded drivers, and ongoing rescue operations. Meteorologists with the National Weather Service described the system as one of the most intense early-season winter storms to affect the region in decades. Snow began falling before sunrise, spreading quickly from western Illinois toward the Great Lakes. The storm deepened through the morning as colder air settled over the region. Visibility dropped without warning in several corridors, causing sudden whiteout conditions. Gusts reached roughly 56 kilometers per hour in exposed areas, pushing snow across highways and forming drifts that forced drivers to slow to a crawl. Several communities in Illinois became early indicators of the storm's severity. Peoria measured more than 5 inches of dense snow, Lincoln nearly 8 inches, and Springfield close to 9 inches. These totals set new local records for late November and highlighted the speed at which the storm intensified. The system shifted repeatedly between snow, sleet, and freezing rain. In some locations, precipitation changed forms within only minutes as warm and cold layers of air battled above the surface. This rapid cycling created a dangerous glaze across roads, sidewalks, and runways. Plows struggled to maintain traction. Residents attempting to travel home after the holiday found themselves driving through waves of snow that reduced visibility to only a few meters at times. By mid-morning, authorities in several states urged people to postpone non-essential travel until crews could treat the roads. The most severe incident unfolded in western Indiana. A burst of heavy snow struck portions of Interstate 70 near the community of Terre Haute, where traffic was already dense with holiday travelers. Drivers reported that visibility faded abruptly as blowing snow moved across the highway. Within moments, vehicles began sliding, braking, and colliding. The resulting chain reaction involved sedans, pickup trucks, freight haulers, and several commercial vehicles. Indiana State Police closed the westbound lanes for hours while emergency teams worked through the debris. The crash became one of the most visible examples of how quickly the storm overwhelmed transportation corridors. In many counties, similar conditions developed. Rural roads grew slick under layers of compacted snow, while urban streets filled with stranded motorists waiting for assistance. Families returning from holiday gatherings paused their travel plans, choosing instead to stay at rest stops or service stations until conditions became safer. Even short trips within towns slowed to a halt as snow continued to fall. In Iowa, crews responded continuously from Friday into Saturday as new bands of snow swept across the region. More than 20 centimeters accumulated in areas around Cedar Rapids, creating steep drifts along secondary roads. The Iowa State Patrol reported multiple slide-offs, rollovers, and collisions caused by the mix of gusty winds and icy pavement. The storm affected not only those on the ground. Air travel experienced widespread disruptions as snow and ice built up on runways. Flight cancellation data from national tracking systems showed more than 1,400 flights canceled across the country, an unusually high number for late November. Chicago O'Hare International Airport recorded the greatest impact. More than 930 flights were canceled and more than 750 were delayed by early afternoon. Departures faced average delays of up to 5 hours as crews worked to de-ice aircraft and clear runways. Travelers waited through long lines, crowded terminals, and repeated schedule changes as the storm intensified over the Great Lakes region. While Illinois and Indiana registered historic snowfall, Wisconsin and Michigan also felt the full reach of the system. Lake-effect snow enhanced totals in several shoreline communities, producing bursts of heavy accumulation that moved inland with shifting winds. Temperatures continued to fall behind the storm, locking in the snowpack and preventing any significant melting. National Weather Service meteorologists warned that the cold air mass trailing the system would push temperatures 10 to 20 degrees below seasonal averages. This drop created favorable conditions for further icing and extended the risks for travelers. The storm's footprint stretched even wider than the Midwest itself. Winter storm warnings remained active from Montana to Ohio, covering thousands of kilometers of territory. Forecasters noted that energy behind the system could form a second storm early in the following week. This potential new system was projected to track along a similar route, threatening the Appalachian region with additional snowfall, freezing rain, and periods of strong wind. Such back-to-back storms raised concerns among transportation officials, especially along heavily traveled corridors like Interstate 70, which remained one of the most vulnerable routes due to increased holiday traffic. Emergency managers across the region emphasized the importance of preparedness. Drivers were urged to carry tire chains, emergency kits, spare blankets, food, water, and sufficient fuel. These precautions became crucial as reports of stranded motorists increased. Several counties opened warming centers for residents experiencing power outages or heating issues. Utility crews deployed in significant numbers, working to repair damaged lines and remove heavy snow from access points. Snowplows operated through the night, but drifting snow continued to refill cleared sections, forcing repeated passes on major highways. In many neighborhoods, residents woke to find cars buried in thick layers of snow. Children played in newly formed snowbanks, while adults worked with shovels and snowblowers to clear driveways. Despite the seasonal charm, the reality of the storm's power remained clear. Emergency vehicles moved slowly through towns, responding to accidents, health calls, and stranded travelers. Fire departments assisted with medical transports when ambulances faced delays caused by slippery streets. Local officials coordinated with state agencies to ensure that resources reached the hardest-hit communities. The storm's economic impacts also began to surface. Businesses that relied on weekend travel saw declines in customers. Freight carriers reported delays as trucks remained stuck behind closures or rerouted around hazardous areas. Airlines faced the challenge of repositioning crews and aircraft once conditions improved. The ripple effect of cancellations extended beyond the Midwest, affecting schedules nationwide. Many travelers anticipated additional delays as they awaited the arrival of the next storm system. Even with cleanup efforts underway, the region faced continuing risks. Meteorologists warned that blowing snow could return overnight, reducing visibility once again. Refreezing on untreated surfaces posed dangers for both drivers and pedestrians. Schools considered delayed openings or temporary closures, depending on local road conditions. Officials advised residents to monitor local alerts and avoid unnecessary travel until conditions stabilized. The storm served as a reminder of how quickly early winter systems can escalate across the central United States. With temperatures expected to remain low and the possibility of another storm on the horizon, preparedness became a crucial focus. Authorities encouraged communities to stay informed, check forecasts regularly, and take precautions before setting out on long trips. They emphasized that even brief improvements in weather could be followed by sudden deteriorations, especially when strong winds interacted with deep snow on the ground. As the Midwest continued to recover from the initial wave of heavy snow and ice, attention turned to upcoming forecasts. Many residents prepared for the possibility of additional disruptions by restocking supplies, securing heating sources, and checking vehicle conditions. Emergency responders reinforced their readiness plans, anticipating that holiday travel patterns could amplify risks during the next round of winter weather. The widespread storm that brought record-breaking snow to Illinois, heavy accumulation to Iowa, dangerous ice to Indiana, and extensive flight cancellations in Chicago signaled the beginning of a challenging season. The combination of freezing temperatures, dense snowfall, and ongoing travel demands posed significant difficulties for millions of people across the region. Forecasters urge citizens to remain alert and to follow guidance from local authorities as winter continued to tighten its grip on the Midwest.